About it. Health and Wellness Hotel. It's got a damn pull-up bar and whatever you call this collection of bars with it. You open up the mirror, hello, and you've got a foam roller, a yoga mat, and some bands to do a light workout if you want to. The gym here is also insane. Massive commercial style gym on the 30th floor. IV therapies, massage, hot cold exposure. They have a big sauna, big cold tub, and a steam room. You can manipulate the lighting to go low for the evening so you can, produce melatonin. Exercise ball is a piece of furniture, which I think is funny and suited. Really cool zero gravity chair. The bed is also insanely comfortable. And of course, a really beautiful bathroom here as well. Deep soak tub, if you're into that sort of thing, and the shower with the infinity head or whatever you call it up above. Automatic bidet, which is a nice touch. They even have one of those mirrors where you can see every single flaw in your face. And this is just the very basic one bedroom studio option. They have rooms with punching bags and treadmills in them, and I'm sure it gets crazier. And no, I'm not being paid or compensated in any way to advocate for this hotel. I have just never heard of a hotel that positions itself exclusively as a health and wellness resort. Super cool. If you ever find yourself in the Middle East, you should stay here. As you increase in your level of conscious awareness, there are going to be people in your life right now and in the world around you who literally cannot understand you. You are going to feel at times like you are actually speaking a different language, and they are going to feel the same way. Not that they don't want to, not that they're choosing not to, they literally can't. The more you learn about yourself, the more you become aware of and dissect your shortcomings, your wounds, your felt perceived inadequacies, you will change. You will see people differently. You will come to understand when other people are operating from that place because you became aware of it yourself. And an unfortunate or fortunate side effect of this is that you will be misunderstood by people a lot. They literally do not have the capacity or the awareness in their plane of conscious or subconscious vision to see the point you're trying to make, to understand what you're saying. And if you try to convince them or get them to understand, it will be like running your head through a brick wall. So don't do that. Your peace, your freedom will come from accepting that you will be misunderstood, that you will be disliked, and that that's just the way it is. But the payoff is much greater than that perceived consequence. I know it's frustrating, and I know somebody out there is dealing with this right now, but I promise you it's worth it. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. The path to being the best version of yourself should be lonely, and the loneliness you feel is not something to be sad about. It is a benchmark and an indicator that you're probably on the right path. Being the best version of yourself means you will make decisions and take on behaviors that the average person, average meaning not best, will not do. And what people don't understand or align with, they most likely will fall away from. Which results in you having less and less people in your life that understand what you're doing. That's normal, and it's not something you should be sad about. Be affirming that you're on the right path. It should encourage you. Many years I spent wondering why I was obsessed with the things I was obsessed with and why my friends that I had in college didn't care about it to the degree that I did. And now I've built an incredible life, career, and a friend group around these interests. It all makes sense now. Stop getting in your head about feeling alone or feeling a bit isolated in this pursuit of the best version of yourself. Be excited by it. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. If you have fitness goals right now and you're stressing because the holidays are coming up and you're worried about what you're going to eat, don't worry. I got a plan for you, and we're going to cover it right now. The first thing you're going to do is understand that it's just a few days out of the year. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas Eve, maybe New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and let's just throw in a couple of miscellaneous days here and there. So let's just say 10 days over the next 45 to 60 days is an opportunity for you to be off track. That is not enough to derail your goals. However, it doesn't mean that you need to go completely off the rails during those 10 days. So as it pertains to Thanksgiving and Christmas and those big meal, event, occasion-heavy holidays or those food-centric holidays, you're going to do this. I get a ton of activity throughout the day, lots of steps. I walk in the morning, walk in the afternoon, walk before the meal. I try to get a minimum of 15,000 steps. This is going to create a caloric buffer. You're going to increase your total daily energy expenditure or calorie burn just a bit. So I just try to get a ton of steps and stay really active during that day. When I go in to eat, it's very simple. I have a plate first focused on protein and greens or low-calorie sides. So like with my family, it's going to be the turkey, the ham, and the green beans and the collard greens. We're in the South. We love collards. I'm going to have a big plate of that. Why? Because it's protein and fiber, and those two things are going to fill me up very much. After that, I have whatever I want, junk food-wise, on the plate. Sweet potato casserole, dessert, pie, whatever it is for you, you can then do that. The reason I do this is because I'm now loaded up on protein and veggies, which are fairly low calorie. I'm going to be very full, and so I'm not going to be able to overeat ridiculously on the junk food, if you will. And this prevents me from going overboard every single year. Have the food, enjoy yourself, be present. The holidays are not a reason to stress about food. Okay, life is far too short for that. I wasted far too much time with that. So this is the strategy. It works every major holiday or for every major meal occasion, and I hope it works for you. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate. Binge eating or feeling guilty about certain foods is something a lot of you seem to be struggling with, and I dealt with that for years. So here are the 2 things I did to finally just kick that shit. This comment right here can lead to a dangerous, disordered pattern of eating. This is already disordered in and of itself. Over-consuming and then fasting because of it is not good. That's what I used to do. The first thing I did is I became more careful and intentional about my word choice around how I talked about food. Words give things power and meaning. For example, I don't call it a relationship with food, I call it a perspective on food. That is an emotionless word. Relationship invokes emotion. It implies power or a tie to something or someone. I don't have a relationship with a fucking pint of Ben & Jerry's. I have a relationship with people. So both in your internal and external dialogue, choose your words carefully. Don't assign so much emotion to food. You're a sentient being, for God's sakes. You don't need to be emotionally tied to food. Neurons that fire together wire together, and when you begin to rewire your habits internally with your dialogue, you will start to see food differently. The second thing I did is take myself out of the situation. This is why I always say, your brain is not your friend, or you are not your thoughts. This fucking thing in our head does not always have our best interest at heart. I mean, say this out loud. You say out loud, I overeat like crazy, and then I feel horrible about it the next day, and I don't eat for a day and a half. Take yourself out of that situation and pretend it's your friend or somebody else that you care about saying this to you, and you'll realize it sounds ridiculous. I started just asking myself, why am I doing this to myself? Why? And then that honestly helped me stop. Sometimes realizing the stupidity of what we put ourselves through and putting ourselves outside of the situation of our own lives helps. It definitely is not easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
I was overweight with poor lifestyle habits for my entire life. Now I'm not. And in the multitude of things I've tried, which is just about everything under the sun, here are the 5 things for me that have made the most profound impact above all. Number 1, you all know this, hitting my protein goal. The FDA's recommendations and guidelines for protein intake are piss poor. Don't listen to the FDA guidelines for protein intake. Eat 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you have more than 50 pounds of body fat to lose, eat your goal body weight in grams of protein. The FDA says someone like me should get 55 to 65 grams of protein in a day. I would quite literally waste away and never be full. Eating more protein is going to stabilize blood sugar. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient, so it's going to fill you up. It's going to preserve lean mass when you're in that calorie deficit trying to lose body fat. And we're made of protein, so you'll have the amino acids your body needs to build new tissue. Number 2, walking, just hitting 10,000 steps a day minimum. Everyone thinks they're grinding in the gym so hard 4 or 5 days a week, but then they realize they're sitting on their ass the rest of the day, so they're getting 5 hours of activity in a week. That's not nearly enough. Move throughout the day, even if for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. 3 to 5 minute walks 10 times a day is 50 minutes of walking. It adds up. Every 10,000 steps you take burns somewhere between 400 and 700 calories. And that's in addition to all the other calories you burn throughout the day, which is your total daily energy expenditure. You burn calories breathing, sitting, thinking, fidgeting, walking, exercising. Everything burns calories. I'm burning calories right now. So move, damn it. Number 3, eating more red meat, steak, ground beef, and the like. I found myself when I was very, very lean eating a lot of chicken and turkey because it was lower calorie, but what it's also lower in is micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. And as many of you know who have been in a calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time, eventually your appetite starts to fight back. It raises your hunger hormone called